At 10 in the morning on January 15, 1947, a woman and her young daughter passed a vacant, weed-choked lot in Los Angeles. Looking into the debris, she spotted what she assumed was a discarded store mannequin. The figure was chalk white. The body had been completely exsanguinated, washed meticulously clean, and surgically bisected at the waist. The killer had also inflicted precise lacerations outward from the edges of her mouth, creating a permanent, hideous grin known as a Glasgow smile. That specific, terrifying image immediately caught the press's attention, who branded the victim with a moniker that would echo for decades: the Black Dahlia. The extreme physical violence visited upon Elizabeth Short's body is horrifying, but the physical crime is heavily overshadowed by the secondary violence inflicted on her memory by the city that consumed her. For over 70 years, pop culture packaged Elizabeth Short as a dark, manipulative femme fatale, a desperate Hollywood starlet, or a wandering, doomed prostitute. None of that is supported by the evidence. The real Beth Short was a broke, vulnerable young woman adrift in grief. She had recently been engaged to an Army Air Forces major who flew P-51 Mustangs, like the aircraft pictured here. 5 days before the war ended, he was killed in a crash. After his death, Beth spiraled into depression and homelessness, couch surfing from town to town. She eventually wandered into the sprawling streets of post-World War II Los Angeles. It was a chaotic environment, swollen with heavily traumatized, demobilized soldiers and deeply embedded organized crime syndicates running gambling and vice rackets with impunity. Operating in parallel to the mob was the city's press. This was the golden age of yellow journalism. Newspapers printed multiple editions a day, ruthlessly competing for street corner sales, entirely unburdened by journalistic ethics or basic morality. Beth Short was a woman adrift in her own grief, and she had just walked into a city that was ill-equipped to protect her and uniquely incentivized to exploit her. When the police arrived at the Norton Avenue lot, the press was already there. Because reporters frequently carried police-issued courtesy badges, they were allowed to swarm the scene. Photographers climbed on top of emergency vehicles and trampled through the brush, casually smoking while standing inches from the body. The LAPD struggled to pull fingerprints from the overly washed skin. Because heavy weather had grounded flights to the FBI database in Washington, an editor for the Los Angeles Examiner offered to transmit the prints using a sound photo machine, an early precursor to the fax machine shown here, which transmitted photographic data via telegraph. Because they owned the transmission machine, the Examiner got the identity of the victim before the police did. Their first move was to call Beth's mother, Phoebe, in Massachusetts. A reporter claimed her daughter had just won a Southern California beauty contest, manipulating the mother's pride to extract an exclusive background story. Once the reporter had taken down every detail of Beth's life, he abruptly changed his tone and told Phoebe the actual truth. Her daughter's mutilated body had just been found in a vacant lot. The media's interference went beyond predatory phone calls. By withholding evidence for scoops, publishing unverified theories, and directly interfering with witnesses, reporters contaminated the investigation in its most critical hours. The newspapers immediately fixated on Robert Red Hanley, a married traveling salesman who had taken Beth to the Biltmore Hotel, seen here, on January 9th. Although police cleared him and his alibi held, aggressive reporters hounded Hanley so relentlessly that he suffered a nervous breakdown and was admitted to a mental institution. The LAPD waded through dozens of confessing Sams, civilians claiming they committed the crime for the fame, and chased down endless theories involving underworld mobsters framing each other. The physical evidence told a colder story. This anatomical diagram shows the blade's trajectory, bisecting the body perfectly between the second and third lumbar vertebrae, passing through the duodenum. Sustaining this view reveals another anomaly. The stomach contained only feces and undigested industrial fertilizer. Because her body had also been entirely drained of blood, investigators knew the killer needed a private, equipped location, a murder den, where they could work undisturbed for several days. Mob hitmen do not carefully drain bodies in bathtubs or perform highly delicate spinal surgeries. The physical evidence points to a solitary, methodical killer with advanced, localized medical training. That specific forensic profile aligns closely with the modern research of journalist Larry Harnish. By stripping away the sensationalized Hollywood noise, Harnish arrived at a suspect entirely overlooked by the mob-obsessed press, Dr. Walter Bailey. Looking at this map of 1940s Los Angeles, the geographic reality is alarming. Dr. Bailey was the chief of staff at the LA County Hospital, and his private practice was located just a few blocks from the Biltmore Hotel where Beth was last seen. Furthermore, Bailey specialized in mastectomies and hysterectomies. His family home was exactly 1 block away, a 45-second walk from the Norton Avenue dump site. But opportunity and skill require a motive. At the time of the murder, Dr. Bailey was suffering from a terminal brain lesion. His specific neurological decay is known to induce severe personality changes. It can completely strip away all impulse control, triggering sudden, extreme hypersexuality and acute bouts of homicidal rage. The intersection of extreme medical expertise, geographic proximity, and sudden violent neurological decay creates the most cohesive, evidence-based explanation for the crime. Despite the mountain of circumstantial evidence linking the crime to a local medical professional, the killer successfully outmaneuvered an entirely compromised police force, and officially, the LAPD file remains open. Elizabeth Short suffered immense physical torture over several days. Then, a rabid press and a hungry public subjected her to a decades-long character assassination, turning a real, struggling human being into a cheap, stylized pulp fiction fable. She was denied justice in 1947, but by discarding the Black Dahlia myth and observing the actual evidence, we can finally stop staring at the monster the media invented and remember the woman they left behind.